Da-da-da. Hey y'all, here's another episode of Bonafide Her podcast featuring the one and only Trey Pyro Brown. Beep, beep, beep,
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? How you doing?
beep. You know we blessed to be alive. How you doing, sir?
Every day above water is always a blessing. So shout out to you for this amazing podcast and just for just you being who you are. Shout out to you.
Oh, appreciate it. You know, it be like that sometimes, Appreciate it still. But let's get it started. So, um, Pyro, can you tell us how you got to like your journey in sports story to where you are right now?
Well, that's a very good question. I've just been a very deep lover of sports. The first sport that I actually fell in love with was the game of basketball. Played when I was in middle school, a little bit in high school. Had the opportunity to play like church league basketball as well too. When I got to college, that's when I was able to really just take a step back and really just indulge in seeing how basketball players like really train and discipline their bodies. It's so amazing. I went to Albertus Magnus College. Albertus Magnus College has one of the greatest coaches of all time, in my opinion, and Coach Mitch Oliver. And I remember in my freshman year, um, I was able to be the manager for this team, and he said the main thing that I want you to do is always just understand how the game of basketball operates, and knowing his relationship with my high school basketball coach, John Marabello, just watching Mitch is just amazing. His coaching structure, he's very hardcore. Like, he teaches you how to attack the rim, how to spread the offense, push the tempo. He's one of the most underrated coaches in Connecticut, honestly. And like I said, like, I just love the game of basketball. One of someone that I was very close to as a friend. Her name's Adrienne Elliott. Her cousin is Jamel Elliott. They used to coach Cincinnati Bearcats a long time ago, and now is one of the associate head coaches for the UConn Huskies. Um, just seeing her in person, asking her about you know how she runs her offense, everything. It's just amazing. And yeah, I just fell in love with the game of basketball. That's something that'll never leave me at all.
So, what inspired you to get into women's basketball and wanting to advocate for women's basketball?
Simply because I feel like women deserve an opportunity. I feel like we see so much going on in the NBA where it's like, bruh, the women deserve the opportunity to shine. Like, for example, when we saw Stephen Curry go one on one in that 3-point shootout contest with Sabrina Ionesco. Like, you can't tell me that you didn't feel the energy in that moment. When you watch players like Dejanay Carrington, uh, what's her name, Jonquel Jones, you know, uh, even Dawn Staley. You know what I'm saying? We see players like that really just like get to their highest peak. It's just amazing. I advocate for women's sports because I believe that women deserve an opportunity, and women can just be as prolific in the game of basketball like a man can. We looked at the WNBA finals and seen how intense, how amazing that entire series was between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty, and how these teams really just got to where they got. You know, it was amazing to see that, and I honestly loved watching that game versus watching the NBA Finals between the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. I really love how women just play ball, and when you see women dunking as well too, like, that's amazing. I believe her name is Fran Belibi. Uh, Amazing player. Seeing her on a fast break dunking the ball, seeing highlights of Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, Sylvia Fowles. Uh, Bruh, at one point, Brittany Griner, I know, dunked the ball as well too. Man, just seeing women, in the game of basketball is absolutely amazing, and I just love it.
What is it about, like, you're a huge Connecticut Sun fan, you're a huge
Yes,
UConn fan. What,
yes.
what is it about the UConn culture that just really, like, stands out from everybody else?
Well, first of all, ain't nobody better than the UConn Huskies. I'm sorry. Uh, but it's just the way Gino Auriemma just knows how to uh, train his players. You know, watching players like Brianna Stewart, Diane Taurasi, Sue Bird, Jim Rosati, Rebecca Lobo, all these great legends came, went to Connecticut. You know what I mean? And our state isn't like a California or New York or North Carolina or Texas or Florida or Ohio. Nobody really knows anything outside of Connecticut, you know, pretty much other than like the Yukon Huskies. And now, you see the Connecticut Sun finally getting their due light. The last time the Connecticut Sun was in the finals, uh, dated back into 2004, was their first appearance where they lost to the Seattle Storm. And then in 2005, they had lost to the Sacramento Monarchs. And then now, years later, they've been to the finals before. Uh, and just seeing this culture, Jim Rosati taking over the Connecticut Sun team, and just seeing the culture really just be so beautiful there. Um, Dejanay Carrington winning the most improved player, seatbelt. You know what I mean? Seeing her, seeing Dewana Bonner, seeing Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, um, Taisha Harris. Seeing them really play cohesively, and then adding Brianna Mayberry as well too. Seeing them play cohesively, that culture is absolutely amazing, and I just love it. I rep my state heavy. I've rooted for Minnesota because Maya Moore during that time was. I call her the Michael Jordan of the WNBA because amazingly statistically wise, and the fact that she went to Connecticut as well too, went to UConn along with like, Kalena Mosqueda Lewis. Connecticut has, great athletes and seeing them transcend and doing great things. That's why I love it. That's why I love UConn. That's why I love the Connecticut Sun.
I wanted Connecticut Sun to actually win just because, like, for me, I love Dejanay Carrington.
I love too.
I love her style. I love everything about her. The
Let me
fact that she can, like, she really was one of the, like, I call it the trailblazers of, like, say, the tunnel fits, like the WNBA tunnel fits. Like, she made it so amazing to be both being a beauty and a beast at the same time. You could be
yeah.
beautiful both on and off the court. So I just love her style and the fact that she's got 2 degrees from Stanford and Baylor.
Hmm.
You can't knock her down for that. Like,
Yeah. And the thing is about Dejanay Carrington is I literally said it. I said if she would have come to the Connecticut Sun, she gonna win a championship. And watching her play, I said one day she's gonna be MVP. She got MIP, and I happened to a while back. I think it was in 2021. I was able to do a poem on her Instagram Live. So meeting her was absolutely like amazing, and the fact that she lost to Connecticut when she was on Baylor, and then gets drafted by the Connecticut Sun. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just amazing to see. And now, on December 6th, we're gonna see a brand new franchise, the Golden State Valkyries. You know what I mean? I hope they don't take Dejanay because I want her to resign with Connecticut. Um, but yeah, overall, she's just an amazing, amazing player. Like you said, the tunnel walks. Outfits are amazing. The fact that she could play offense like no tomorrow and defense. Her defense, is absolutely amazing. The fact that she knows how to really get, in someone's, face, really get that one-on-one like direction. Like, okay, if this person's going left, I'm gonna shift this way. I'm gonna cut this person off. She knows how to play the hoop. And that's why I love her. I feel like one day she's gonna win the MVP, and I think she's gonna lead. No, I'm not even gonna say I think. I know she's gonna lead Connecticut to a WNBA championship next season.
so I have a question for you because I feel like, this season when it came to like women's sports, especially women's basketball, it was crazy, but also like you saw a lot of, I feel like for me, you saw a lot of people's like true allegiance and colors and who they rooted for and everything. Do you
Mhm.
believe when it comes to women's basketball or even sports, do you feel like there is a double standard in like how certain athletes are placed in for women's sports?
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the NBA lets certain things slide. I feel like the WNBA needs uh, a lot more recognition. I feel like wait, I don't even know what that is, but I feel like the WNBA needs a lot more recognition. I feel like the WNBA sometimes could feel a little bit like restraint. You know, when you think about their travel, you know, you think about the salaries that they're making. WNBA players get paid more overseas than they do in the United States of America, and that's a problem to me. I feel like they need to up their salary cap. I feel like they need to be making, max salaries. You've seen how small arenas, for WNBA games are now packing out larger venues. Like you look at the Las Vegas Aces, for example. They play at the Mickle Bob Arena in Las Vegas, which is about 10, 15,000 people, give or take. And they sold out their tickets in the T-Mobile Arena. You see how Caitlin Clark, with Indiana Fever, those tickets sold out. You know what I mean? You've seen how the Connecticut Sun was able to play at TD Garden. You see all these things, and I say this: the WNBA needs a lot better. They need better resources. They need better opportunities for players to get, what I'm saying, their due share, because the WNBA is absolutely amazing. And now they're in talks about bringing not only the Golden State Valkyries. Portland's going to have a team. They're looking to try to bring a couple more expansion teams as well. Cleveland being an option, North Carolina being an option as well. They're also looking to bring back the Orlando team, and they're also looking to bring a Philadelphia team as well too. Personally, I feel like the Detroit Shock shouldn't have left. I loved Deanna Nolan. That was like my crush. Uh, so yeah, I just feel like the WNBA at the rate and how amazing they are, you can definitely see the double standards now.
I just think, like, to be honest, like, you know, you definitely made some valid points for sure. Like, a lot of people don't, you can't forget Toronto's about to build a team with, because when you have certain cities that have like a marketable, resources and they can market really well, like, you're going to get more teams. And, a lot of WNBA players do they have to go to overseas because to make a much bigger living in income wise. And at times it's very unfortunate just because, like, you see people miss their families, you see people, like, and then sometimes, and then I don't know if people remember back in 2022 where um the whole Brittany Griner situation, it, you know, caused a lot more people to say, hey, this is what happens when we're going overseas. Like, this is like something that there's a reason why, the WNBA needs more teams, why women's basketball and, like, say, the United States need more support. So something like this does not happen because that's a person's well-being. And, that's a person's, family that's being, it's almost being taken away of. So
Hmm. Yeah, and all of that happened with Brittany Griner. I feel like the NBA could have done a better job of responding. I feel like they could have uh, really put the emphasis on bringing back Brittany Griner, because being in Russia, that situation was very, very uncomfortable. But I'm glad she's home. I'm glad that she was able to play. I was glad that, even though she didn't have a ideal year that we wanted, to see her, um, lace up, lace up shoes and still be as dominant as she is, that says and stands for something. I feel like when she decides to leave the game, she's leaving a champion. You know what I mean? She's leaving a dominant champion. She's leaving somebody who has made a amazing staple and stamp in the WNBA. Um, but for real, I feel like she definitely needs to get the recognition and the praise that she deserves. And yeah, I'm even looking forward to how this Phoenix Mercury team is really going to do next season as well too.
especially with, like, a lot of situations like being,
Hmm.
but you know I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's a stuff when it comes to like women's sports, particularly like the women's basketball. You know, when we saw the Iowa LSU game, you know,
Yes.
where I felt like there was a double standard that was shown because, and what I mean is, when Kayla Clark did the you can't see, yeah, to Haley Van Leaf, everybody thought that was competitive. But when Angel Reese did it, people called her like classless, just a sore loser and all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
feel like when it comes to a double standard of women's basketball or any women's sports, it's like I'm gonna be very controversial about this, but some people be like, clutch their pearls. I feel like some people, it's like if a white woman who plays a sport, she does something like that, they're like, oh, she's competitive. But if a black athlete, a woman athlete, does something like that, they tell them to sit down. And I think that's a huge double standard issue that
Yeah.
needs to be like, vocalized, because at the end of the day, if you see so many greatest players in women's sports, you see a lot of them are, you know, black women and African American women. Like when you talk about the goats, you think about Serena Williams. So
Mhm.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
I would honestly say that when I wouldn't say that's a double standard. I believe it was just honestly just them being incompetent and racist. Because at the end of the day, if Caitlin Clark had won that championship that year against LSU, and she did that sign, you wouldn't hear, the can't see me, um, you wouldn't hear anybody saying anything. But because Angel Reese is an African American woman, uh, you hear a lot of backlash. You're gonna hear, "Oh, she ghetto, she's trash, she's classless." But Caitlin Clark was doing it, and it's okay for Caitlin Clark to do it, but for Angel Reese not to. And that within itself shows that there needs to be a lot of people looking in the mirror and really realizing that in the game of basketball, you're gonna talk junk. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna, you know, taunt and you do all that, but that's for the love of the sport. As long as you don't bring color or name calling into it, then it becomes a safer environment for people to play the game. And people's and I believe that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark came out and said, "Yo, we're friends, so like, we have to taunt each other because we want to win. We want to get in each other's head. You have to understand that." And in this generation, you know, we have a lot, and I mean a lot of people that are very immature. And how I look at the game of basketball is yo, if you can't bring, can't stand the heat, stay out the kitchen. So at the end of the day, it was all said and done. It's more than just double standard. It's the semi-racist people. Because if we want to take it a step further, look at all the death threats that DJ Carrington got. You know what I'm saying? Look at all those death threats that were received by the Connecticut Sun players. And yet Minnesota was able to advance to the WNBA finals, and no one said anything directly towards any of them. But they received heat because of the color of their skin.
I think, and that's, and a lot of people forget that the WNBA have been a huge part of the social justice movement, like where they actually, if people don't remember, during the bubble, like the WNBA bubble, they dedicated their whole season to Breonna Taylor, and that
Mm-hmm.
was a huge deal. And then they had, like, everybody's jersey had the Breonna Taylor on the name on the back of the jerseys. You know, Atlanta Dream did something that no one probably would ever think of doing, where they they used their movement and did, like, just had somebody who used to be a co-owner to say, you know, we move, we out, and then just like you said, how Maya Moore, like I love Maya Moore, that's my goat. Maya Moore stood up for social justice, doing what she used to do, did what she did, use her platform, and just do something so much bigger. I think a lot of people need to understand, like, the WNBA is too real, like, but please respect the players. Don't, whenever if you're going to talk about players, don't ever disrespect their grades just to praise or uplift one player.
And the thing is, regarding that, that was based upon Lauren Bobbert, who used to be the owner of the Atlanta. dream, but she made some very racist and egregious comments, which led to her departure. And now, one of my goats, Renee Montgomery, is now the owner of the Atlanta Dream. And what people have to realize is the WNBA is the only one, honestly, every year that has at their box where players check in, to make substitutions. Every court says Black Lives Matter. When do you really see that in the NBA? You know what I'm saying? Black women, you know, Black Lives Matter really takes a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stride in the WNBA. And yes, when Breonna Taylor, passed away, uh, the WNBA quickly responded. You saw players in the NBA, respond. You know, the WNBA definitely needs their recognition and their respect a lot more because they really are speaking out about things that matter. So that's how I look at that.
So my question for you is, also you are a writer. Do you
Hmm.
see like a correlance of competition when it comes to both sports and writing? Do you feel like they can coexist, but also do you feel like they're both competitive in their aspects?
So from a poetic approach, writing is definitely competition because when you think about it, everybody gives themselves timeline. You hear a poet say something, you're like, yo, I want to write just as something greater, if not even harder than this person. So, like, for example, anybody that knows me, the moment that somebody decides, hey, I want to go one on one against Pyro, I'm going after you. Like, I'm coming in ready to kill it. I'm coming in ready to go to war. Like, I'm ready to write whatever I want, say whatever I want, and I'm staying 10 toes down on it. So if you're going one on one with me, my goal is to outright you. My goal is to say things in different ways, use different metaphors, entendres, alliteration, to have you really thinking, is this the bout that you really want to do? So you think about it, right? Writing is a sport. You have your layers to it. You have a game plan. You free write. That's like creating your offense. You know, your delivery. It's preparing your offense. Taking your notes and looking at different concepts, listening to music. That's defense because you're protecting what you're trying to produce and put out there. So now when you put that all together, you really see that it's like the game of basketball. You have a team, and those that rock with you on your team are gonna rock with you. You're the point guard, and you set it up where it's like, yo, you have some shooting guard, somebody that you can really like call. They can give you this. Your small forward gives you that. Your power forward helps you to edit. Your center makes it plain for you to be able to go crazy. So as you look at it, you can see the correlation between sports and writing together.
That makes perfect sense because everybody want to say they have their goats in that specific aspect, and it's a competitive. So
Mhm.
definitely could see that. So all right, so who would you say is like who is that player in women's sports
Mhm.
that you would compare your favorite poet?
That's a good question. Can I say like five? All right, so if I could, I'm gonna say players that you probably even know that I know about. Uh, and I'll use all women poets with women players if that's okay.
That's cool.
So if I used Goddess Tamani Rain, she would be my Tisha Penicheiro from the Sacramento Monarchs. The way that she's very versatile. Tisha Penicheiro knew how to run the offense. She had a brilliant mind for the way that she was able to dissect defenses, especially if it's a 2-3 or a boxing one. Um, Tamani Rain would be like my Tisha Penicheiro. Sarah Serenity, that would be that would be my Renee Montgomery. Um, Renee Montgomery, if y'all remember, when she was in the league, how could you stop somebody so quick like that? The way she would just attack the rim. You know what I'm saying? That's how Sarah Serenity is. It's like she knows how to dissect a poem, and you wouldn't even know how she's able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I have so much respect for her. You know what I mean? And one day I gotta do a better with her because, yeah, that's the only person I'll be afraid of. I would take you, Ashley, right? And I would compare you to Taj McWilliams Franklin. Um, just underrated. You never know what to expect. You never knew, what type of direction McWilliams Franklin was gonna go, and the fact that people could sleep on her, but when she gets ready and she plays the hoop, who's stopping Taj Williams Franklin? That's who like you would be. I'll forward um Benita. I would compare her. That would be my Joanna Bonner. Um, just so sharp, consistent, um, ready to score at will. And then center, um, or my fifth poet that I would compare to like a WNBA player. Um, hmm. Oh, definitely Kiana Pearl. Um, she to me is Maya Moore. I love how every time Kiana Pearl says something, she knows how to really like read and feel into your life. That's why I love her so very much. Um, she's my Maya Moore. She's somebody who knows how to really lead a team. And she may come off as shy, but when that poem gets into her hands and she's able to deliver that, no one stops. And yeah, those would be like my top five.
Hey, snaps with it. I'm
Yeah.
glad I made it to a top five. Hey. No,
Hey yo.
but my question is though, like, you know, with with student athletes, athletes itself, and also with the poetry community. Um, and I always ask these questions when it comes to mental health is like for you, how important is mental health in terms of sports as well as the poetry aspect?
It's absolutely important. Your mental health comes first. Too many players are dying due to not addressing their mental health situations. That's why I stress go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Therapy is your best friend. Go to therapy. Get the healing, the strength that you need to be able to compose yourself because it does translate when you get on the court. Because you could be going through something so much you're not able to produce, the way that your coach wants you to produce. You know what I mean? Mental health plays a pivotal role. And the reason why a lot of players are going through depression or even contemplating suicide or having those moments of BPD and PTSD is because they're putting a toll on their spiritual bodies and their mental bodies while trying to keep up and maintain their physical bodies. So mental health definitely plays a pivotal role, and there's nothing wrong with going to therapy and asking for help. When I was playing, I also played volleyball when I was in college. One of the things that my coach did was, he said there's a day where it was like a team day, and I skipped team day to go to therapy, and I needed it. And I was able to go to the rest of the team day late. And, this about to be like, close to the end of it. But I said, listen, I needed to go to therapy. Coach said it was okay because you got to learn how to heal. You got to learn how to discipline and really like heal your spiritual body because if you cannot, you will not be able to thrive and to be, successful, especially in the game.
Do you hope to see, like, say, male athletes be advocates of women's sports, such as, like, when
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant was living, he was a huge advocate of women's sports. Do you hope to see more male athletes to be advocates like Kobe?
I believe we already see a lot of that, but it could definitely be improved. LeBron James, he roots for the WNBA. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. Um, man, bringing up Kobe Bryant, that definitely hit a very strong spot in the heart because if only Gianna Bryant was able to, go to UConn because I heard she's gonna go to UConn. Um, and then to see her, in the WNBA, just picture, Kobe rooting for, his daughter wearing the WNBA hoodie. That means something. I feel like we as men really got to get more engaged in watching women's sports, not just college basketball, but really watching them, in the WNBA, to see them doing volleyball, see them doing softball. I actually love watching women's softball. Um, I one day to hopefully see a women's major league baseball team, that can actually hit a baseball, and really doing things like that. And I believe it's come to a time where we as men gotta definitely do a lot better and really support women because women definitely deserve it. They deserve the support. There's nothing that a man can do that a woman can't do. And I believe that women just have that support, that encouragement, that reassurance that they can do something extraordinary. They'll be able to do
All I know is there may be a baseball team for women coming up soon, so maybe a real life version of a league of their own's coming up soon. So,
that would be absolutely amazing. That's actually another one of my favorite movies. Um, I can't wait for that. I want to see, more women get the opportunity to be great and successful and to, but that's how I feel.
so how would you describe your journey? If there was a scripture or a saying or some words, how would you describe your journey?
Um, I would say Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough problems of its own. For tomorrow will take care of itself. Each day has enough problems of its own. That's what I feel about my life right now. I'm not gonna worry about anything. I'm not gonna stress about anything. I'm not gonna harbor or put myself down because life may not go the way I wanted to go at the times I wanted to go. But as long as I keep my attention, my focus, my heart on the Lord, I know He's gonna bring me through it. This journey right now, if I could share it, I'm supposed to get married, no longer getting married, and it was tough. It was difficult. It was rough because when you invest in someone and they turn around and they, say they no longer want to be with you, it does something to you. It does something to your psyche. It does something to your mental health. But I'm not worried about it because I know that God has that right person from me, and I know that God has a plan for me. Which is always to prosper me, never to harm me, but to give me a hope and a better future. So I don't need to worry about anything because God has everything under control and has everything, uh, everything together. That's where my journey is right now.
So, I always ask my guests this question because, so of all the, from you being an advocate to you being a writer, best-selling author of your poetry. So I always ask my guests this question. What makes Trey Pyro Brown the third authentic and unique? And what makes your story just stands out from others?
What makes me authentic and my story stand out from others is that it's my story. My story is one where, I don't do it for the gratification or the co-signing of people. My story is my story. If you only knew what I've been through in order to get to this point right now, you'd be able to see me that once used to be immature, that used to be annoying, that used to try to fit in with everybody, to now growing and blossoming into the man that I'm supposed to be and doing it on my terms without looking for people to, you know, without looking to people please. One thing that I was guilty of on this journey was that I did a lot of people pleasing. I always tried to do and be a yes man for people. But when I started using no, I felt me taking my power back. I felt like God was really giving me another chance at life because the only person I'll say yes to is Him. And on that journey, I made friends, I lost friends, I made some poetry connections, I gained some rivals. But at the end of the day, none of that stopped me because all I keep doing is ascending even higher. and reaching the greatest capacity I am. Like I'm getting ready. I'm like in full form right now. Like I'm on book numbers 19 and 20 back to back. You know what I mean? Like, and after that, I'm pulling a J. Cole. Like, is this the end of the chapter? Heavily after after, will this be the year that fulfills rain? So I got stuff that I'll be doing outside of writing. I'm building that next generation of poets, putting together shows. I just had my first sellout show. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought that a dude from New Britain, Connecticut, with a love for God, can put together something and start not just a movement, but something that's transcending into a legacy with legitimacy. You know, being the founder of the Prolific Poetry Collective, and seeing them doing their thing, even though I'm not affiliated with them, now building a group, the Poetry Clique, where it's over 70, 80 people in this room getting pyro prompts, writing poetry, and seeing people going on lives and doing their thing and really just interacting with each other and building community. Being a part of a group called the Poetry Hour, you know what I'm saying, and being around those poets, Poet Now Loading, watching them. My story is just now being told in the way that I want it to be told. And it's just getting started. And if you actually like look at it right now, you'll see that I'm a force to be reckoned with. I'm not trying to sound cocky or condescending or rude, but those that slept on me keep sleeping because it's only gonna get crazier from here. The fire's still gonna burn. The pen is gonna be penning. I'm gonna be a rekindling flame, and nobody's gonna stop me. Not at all.
Ooh. Show your range. Show your range, sir.
Thank you, thank you, and and I produce too. So being the fact that I'm able to be on the show that I was able to produce, you know, for you and watching you grow, that's a part of my story too. Because little did I know, I'd be able to watch you and see the movement that you're making, seeing the brand that you're becoming and that you already are. You do so many great things, and I gotta give you your due flowers because you're doing things that people can't do. And there's podcasts that I be like, why are they doing a podcast? But you're consistent with it. So shout out to you, man, for real. Shout out to you.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. I, I didn't expect my flowers to be given or anything. I don't expect no flower to be given. But I definitely appreciate it. For real, for
You
real.
deserve them. You deserve them. There ain't no questions about it. You deserve them. And always give yourself your due flowers too. Don't expect everybody to give you your flowers. Hey, but listen, you deserve them. Give yourself your flowers because you definitely deserve them, and I'm proud of
I'm gonna cry later on. But
you.
can you let the folks know how and where they can follow you and support you if there's any upcoming events?
Yeah, so y'all can follow me on Instagram at PYROTHAGREAT because nobody do it better than me. But now you can follow me on Instagram at Pyro the Great. Follow me on Facebook at Trey Brown. Um, yo, Valentine's Day 2025. I'm dropping with Love Speaks 2. Whole bunch of love poems is going into that, and I can't wait to really give y'all every single depth of me in the form of love. And then on my birthday, I'm dropping a very bar heavy poem book called Mask On, Mask Off. I definitely need you, ma'am, to collab with me for both those projects. So, yeah, we're going to definitely be talking. Definitely want to get these collabs together and work on those. Yeah, I'm doing another Poetry Rhymes and Vibes event in 2025. I'll let y'all know the date soon. It's going to be lit. And yeah, I got some special things in the chamber. Uh, Man, I'll be actually, it's in talks, but I'll be leaning towards going to Houston for New Year's and performing out there with Poet Now Loading. So that's going to be an amazing time, an amazing event. So yeah, that's where y'all can find me. Oh, and I'm on is it called Blue Sky, something like that?
Yeah, Blue Sky.
Find me on there too at Power the Great, #1. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where y'all can follow me.
So who's gonna win this year's national champion for women's basketball?
Yukon Huskies. Yukon. I'm sorry. The addition of Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd, Paige Beckers. A healthy AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So Sarah Strong has been playing great. We have the former point guard from Princeton. Aubrey Griffin is going to be healthy too. Ayanna Pass is going to be healthy too. This UConn team is dangerous. We don't sleep on South Carolina. Don't sleep on UCLA. Don't sleep on Iowa State. Don't sleep on USC, and don't even sleep on Notre Dame. Okay, um, Notre Dame is playing some amazing basketball, but hey, UConn Huskies, they better than NC State. Sorry, Janai, on fire. But yeah, NC State not playing the best this year, and I told y'all, the NC State Wolfpack is like the Dallas Cowboys, all talk, no but, acting waiting to happen. They didn't do nothing great until when KL was the coach, and after that they ain't do nothing. But in that, no hate for NC State, but just if you think you can, you can't. UConn's going to win a championship.
Nice wordplay on the end. Nice
Thank
wordplay.
you, thank you. See, I've been practicing.
Thank you guys for tuning in to episode Bonafide Herc Podcast, episode 91. Yes, 91, y'all. So 9 episodes away from the 100 episode milestone. Shout out to Trey Pyro Brown the third for coming in and sharing your sports story. I definitely appreciate it. You can check out the live replay of this episode after this as we log off. Thank you guys tuning in. Peace.
Yeah.